The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Careers with Sara on Armed Radio Global. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. You're listening to my show, Let's Talk Careers. Today, I am very serious talking about how there are so many ways for you to improve your job skills as a CEO. Seriously, how many of us feel that one day I want to become a CEO, one day I want to be a manager? I'm sick and tired of the salary. I'm sick and tired of my rate that I get. I have no position that I like. I don't want to be bossed around. I want to be bossing others. So many times we feel that we need to amp up our game, but sometimes we feel like there is no way of doing it. It's very hard. It's very difficult. And people are always choosing over you over somebody else, and they are not hiring within. And of course, you can just complain. But because you are listening to my show, tonight we are going to make that difference. Tonight we are going to change that game. Tonight we are going to improve your skills as a CEO. You're going to learn how to improve your job skills. Want to learn what it takes to hold a position as a CEO? Tune in till the rest of the show. So, let's start with leadership. In order to be a CEO, you need to show the leadership experience with your current employees at your current job. You can learn leadership skills through books. Go on YouTube, get some leadership advice, how to lead your followers, how to get your followers to listen to you, right? This is what a CEO needs to have. That's a skill. And by them following you, they are giving you respect. You want to be respected. Somebody who listens to you respects you. This is one skill. The next skill would be time management. As a CEO, there will be multiple deadlines to meet. Are you ready to be pressured with deadlines? By knowing what projects to prioritize and how to meet the goals, you will succeed in this field. You will also demonstrate that you are organized and flexible to tackle any additional deadlines. Time management can be practiced at home, right? Let's say you have to have a list of things to do throughout the day, and you want to manage your time to make sure all of the things are done in one day. Okay, so let's assume the list could go like this. Send out resumes, have an interview, book an interview, reach out to HR executives, reach out to career coaches, reach out to resume writers, and of course, listen to my show at 10 p.m. Eastern Time tonight on Wednesday, right? That should be part of your list. So by managing your time, making sure you have time allotted in order to reach out your checklist, that's called time management. If you can do it at home for yourself, you can do it for others as well. Okay, next is oral presentation. Now, tell me one CEO that doesn't have a meeting to go to create an oral presentation. No, you will not find a CEO that is not having a meetings. CEOs always are on meetings with your board members, with your staffs, with your directors, with everybody. And they have to have an oral presentation. You will have multiple meetings with other company CEOs. that you will have to communicate across any information that is required to share. You will have a board meeting, sales meeting, staff meetings, etc. Your oral presentation should be clear and to the point, so there is no misunderstanding or any room for miscommunication. So that is clear. By doing oral presentation, it leads to our next skill, which is sales. To work as a CEO, your job is to make sure that the company is earning high revenues. It doesn't matter what industry, in any industry, it will be your job to be on top of the game, to meet the quota for the month, quarter, or year. So sales skills are to be learned, and there are so many resources out there that you cannot say, I don't know how to sell. There are so many resources in the library. You can learn about some sales techniques. There are some resources on YouTube. The best salesperson out there, I will suggest, is Grant Cardone. Search him on YouTube and you will learn any sales skills that you can tackle on. So it's a skill that is needed and required. Doesn't matter what level of title you have, what level of management you have, you need to learn this skill. And by the way, if you are the one who knows how to sell best than your peers, than your manager, than anybody else, people will want to make you a CEO. People will want to make you as a sales manager, sales director. You know, it's something that everybody will want to learn from you. It's a skill that is on demand. No matter where you go, what state you live in, what country you live in, sales skills are a must. You don't need a degree for it, believe me. All you need is a skill. Okay, writing skills. CEOs write all sorts of letters to their prospects, employees, customers, etc. And of course, you will have an assistant and other staff to help you with this. But if you are illiterate in your resume, cover letter, thank you letter, emails, then you miss the opportunity to prove yourself as a CEO. So get yourself some skills in writing, okay? And you don't have to be an author for that. I mean, that is great. To be an author, to have a book from you, it's something that people will appreciate because that is part of your PR. PR, that's public relations. You are actually branding yourself as an influencer. And I will talk about this throughout my other shows, my upcoming shows throughout the year. So stay tuned to that and we'll discuss more for you to learn how to be a CEO. Next is the math. As mentioned before, sales are important, which ties with math. You need to know your numbers, shares, percentages. Let's say your company wants to earn 67% in sales by the end of the year. You will need to know what the number means. And if you don't know math, you can't be a CEO. Math is very crucial. Practice your math. There are some math exercises on the internet. You can just try doing them and practice on them. It's very important. The basic math that you need is addition, division, percentages, and multiplications, and of course subtractions. So let's say a company that is making $2 million a year on sales, right? And then the next year they're making about $1.5 million. So it will be your job to understand what is the loss from this year to last year, what went wrong and how you can increase, how to set up the goals in order to reach up the percentages that your president is asking for. So you have to really work on it. Majority of the time, if you don't have these basic skills, it's like you are not probably going to use math as often because you're going to have your sales manager, your sales director under you, and they will give you the numbers. But no matter what, you still need to show you are knowledgeable, you are educated, you understand math. You understand? Nobody wants to work with ignorant. So educate yourself as much as you can. Now, delegating. That's another skill. With so many deadlines, your time management is restricted. Just delegate work as much as you can to keep your staff busy. Know your employees' strengths and weaknesses. So you will assign a job that meets their skills. Let's say a person that is not computer savvy can't search for your prospect, but he is good in people skills. That means he is extrovert, right? And would like to be he would like to do sales instead of being on the computer and searching stuff. So give him the amount of sales you would like him to close per month. That way he's happy and you are happy. That's delegation that you should really think about. You might say, I am delegating, but work is not done. My employee is giving me a hard time. It's like, seriously, you probably assign it to the wrong people. You need to figure it out why they're not doing it, why they're not motivating, why they are just being hard on you. Next one, computer savvy, as we speak, right? So in these days, you have to be computer savvy. You need to be familiar with latest apps and technologies. You'll be doing work mostly on computers. If you don't know, then this position may not be your call. Okay, to be a CEO, you need to be computer savvy. And unless you hire a full-time personal assistant full-time, then maybe you can still get away with it. So, as you can see, a lot of work needs to be improved if you would like to be a CEO. Read books, follow other CEOs on social media, read CEO magazines to see how others are succeeding in this field, connect with them on LinkedIn, and watch YouTube for CEO trainings. And most importantly, network with other CEOs online or on conferences or summits. So, with that being said, that the skills are leadership, time management, oral presentation, sales, writing, math, delegating, computer savvy, and let's say you do have those skills, it's not enough to learn something else. You need more skills to learn, more skills to adapt. So just, figure things out how to improve them. I'm here to help you, to really guide you through. So if you need a coach that is going to guide you how to be a CEO, just message me on Facebook, Let's Talk Careers with Sara. You can join my group, Let's Talk Careers Inner Circle, and we can make it happen for you. We can make it happen for you to be a CEO in 2019. And don't forget to listen to my show on Armed Radio Global on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And I will have much more in the upcoming few minutes after this video. Hi, my name is Sara. I am a career coach. I help managers, directors, and C-level executives to revamp their resumes and LinkedIn profiles. Listen to my show, Let's Talk Careers with Sara on Armed Radio Global. On Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Write your career challenges on facebook.com/Let's Talk Careers with Sara. And I will answer them on my next show. So we are back to Let's Talk Careers with Sara. So let me ask you this. Do you want to get shortlisted for C-level position? You want to get shortlisted to become a CEO? Then landing a C-suite role can be the ultimate challenge for many seasoned executives. And with the number of potential roles narrowing the farther one climbs to the top, while many leadership styles, experience levels, and personal traits vary from one C-level executive to the next. There are several key characteristics and activities that the majority of successful C-suite share with their success can be attributed to. So if you have a C-suite aspirations, so let's go and find out what you can do to get shortlisted. First, you need to be willing to take a new challenge. New challenges with enthusiasm. When it comes to C-suite candidates, hard work definitely pays. Those who set themselves apart in the workplace as being willing to take on new responsibilities, particularly those that no one else is prepared to do, will help to establish themselves as having true leadership potential. It is important to appear energetic, proactive, enthusiastic, and above all, punctuous. Punctuous, that means you have to be punctual to do any task that is required of you to do. Then, what you can do is be prepared to move laterally. In today's business environment, C-level executives are expected to demonstrate an increasingly broad range of business skills, from finance to strategy. It is now essential for hopeful C-suite executives to have a deep understanding of metrics, margins, and their company's financial health. If your current role or career path has not allowed you to develop or demonstrate a wide variety of business skills in a multitude of environments, it might be worth considering a lateral career move before attempting to move up to a C-level position. Smaller or similar size roles that add to your credentials can have the power to lead to bigger opportunities. So it's important to think about the big picture when taking your next step. So what I'm trying to say here, just for you to understand in a clear language, to be a C-level executive, try to transition yourself into manager and then director and then as a C-level executive. Get some skills while you are reaching up the ladder. And like I said before, if your current company is not promoting you, quit the job, resign, and get a different job that will get you to that level. Do not stay with the company because you are all set and comfortable. Okay? Because you feel it's a job security, you have another 10 years to work to get your pension. You are wasting your 10 years of life. Now I want to explain to you this. When you position for good timing, you position yourself and you are hoping to stay at your current organization, it is vital to critically assess the likelihood of a C-suite opening becoming available. If the C-level position has recently been filled by a popular, successful, and relatively young executive, you could be forced to wait for a long time for the position to become open. Be realistic about your potential future opportunities and consider your options if the timing looks like it might not be in your favor. Now, be able to demonstrate your impact. Okay, by being able to measure your tangible impact on your current and previous organizations can be instrumental in securing your future C-suite role. You must be able to provide facts and figures to show how your efforts have improved your company and how you have been able to achieve high caliber results in high pressure environment. And remember, this is not only for promotion, but it's also when you need a raise. You need to show them all of these facts. How did you impact the company to get the raise? Next is be prepared to make high, tough decisions. When entering a leadership position, you will be expected to make difficult decisions under pressure that are not always popular, while simultaneously maintaining the respect of the team. In order to reach a C-level position, you need to showcase this level of decision making in order to demonstrate your ability to get things done and meet business goals. Top C-suite executives are often characterized as being proactive, aggressive, and efficient. And this is the big one. Understand the importance of cultural fit. Executives should be mindful to never underestimate the importance of cultural fit. C-suite executives are supposed to set the tone for their teams and for their organization. So if you are not in sync with the company's culture, it is unlikely that you will be selected for upcoming C-level positions. So if you have people who are Muslims, who are Jews, who are Christians, who are from Spanish culture, who are from Caribbean culture, you need to be culturally sensitive and you need to understand their cultural fit. You can't just assume that they are live in America, they should really adjust to American culture. It's not what it is. As a C-level executive, you should be aware of that. Then, be open and vocal about your ambition. Transparency. Transparency is key to getting on the C-suite shortlist. Without the support of those at the top, it is difficult for executives to rise above their current position. So make your ambitions known in order to gain their trust and support. Voicing your C-suite aspirations can be a sensitive topic, but it is possible to broach the subject in a way that expresses honesty and humility. Articulating your ambitions to those at the top also has the added benefit of allowing your superiors to let you know the present situation and the achievability of your C-suite goal. So, I want you to be aware that to be a CEO is not an easy task. You are going to be wearing so many hats, different roles, different ways, very hard decisions to make. Sometimes you might even stay longer hours to get the project done. So, you need to be prepared. You need to prepare for that. And like I said, listening to my show, it's a great way to get into that position. Really. If you need to consult with me, or you need to ask some questions, or some if you need some advice, I really can help you. So you need to reach out to me on Facebook, Let's Talk Careers with Sarah, and I will definitely help you out. Now, I read a Forbes article about what it takes to become a future C-level leader. That's a very good article, and it's just explaining what are the key requirements of future C-level leaders. The first thing they mention is knowledge. A big change impacting C-level leaders is a globalization phenomenon. On top of functional knowledge, industry knowledge, and company knowledge, C-level leaders must be proficient in navigating global challenges. As companies become more and more global, the complexity associated with being able to navigate legal, political, economic, social, and human resource systems in other countries will become more challenging. Given the nuanced understanding required to gain insight into culture-specific behaviors, for example, deal-making, the ability to effectively adapt will increase. All of this means that the type, amount, and the diversity of knowledge that C-level leaders must have is different and more complex than in past decades. Then is the performance measurement. C-suite leaders will have to continue focusing on and measuring output results, what gets done, in addition to being flexible on inputs, where and when it gets done. With technology, work is rarely a 9 to 5 operation. CEOs return email at 11 p.m. on Saturday. They fly out to catch a meeting on Sunday and then Skype with an employee overseas at 5 a.m. However, they also might go watch their grandchild play soccer at 4 p.m. on Friday. The always-on mentality that comes with constant connection means that leaders will view when and how work gets done differently and tolerate that from their employees. With constant connection requires flexibility and tolerance of different work habits. This means a focus on measuring results and redefining inputs. People management and skill improvement. Who the C-suite leads today is drastically different than even 15 years ago. In addition, employee expectation of employers has changed. Leading individuals in a positive way is one of the more challenging sides of leadership. Building skill is in aligning diverse values, identities, and work styles is complex and challenging. However, our ability to understand employee behavior through research is greater, as is understanding of career progression and derailment. A recommended book that the Forbes actually recommends it, it's called The End of Diversity as We Know It. Why Diversity Efforts Fail and Why Leveraging Difference Can Succeed by Martin Davidson. So importantly, C-level leaders must find the time to learn, grow, and retool regularly to ensure they are both competent and effective leaders. Now, leaders will be more adept at modeling how to react to conflict. And a simple rule is to separate content from delivery. With globalization comes a variety of individual styles. Some individuals are quite emotional, while others are stoic. A critical skill that effective leaders will increasingly need to have is the ability to eliminate the noise, relate to how somebody is talking to, focus on the content of what they are saying, being able to ignore the style with which a complaint, suggestion, or idea is communicated, to focus on the central issue enables leaders to be more effective problem solvers. This is not an easy skill to develop, as many individuals react to style which can derail a discussion. Tomorrow's C-level leaders will be very effective at recognizing how to turn conflict into important opportunities for their business and for modeling effective leadership in those they tend to develop. And effective leadership continues to be a premium among tomorrow's leaders. Developing the skills, knowledge management, and capability required will be more challenging. Between books, conferences, consultants, and executive education, it's possible to turn this challenge into a competitive advantage. Alright, let's take a break. I'm going to have a video play for now. Hi, my name is Sara. I am a career coach. I help managers, directors, and C-level executives to revamp their resumes and LinkedIn profiles. Listen to my show, Let's Talk Careers with Sara on Armed Radio Global. On Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Write your careers challenges on facebook.com/Let's Talk Careers with Sara. And I will answer them on my next show. Now, C-suite executives and positions are highly coveted roles. Many people at various levels in their career aspire to be executive leaders. So whether now or some distant day in the future, if you are hoping to reach C-suite level, what abilities and qualities do you need to get there? By far, as we spoke, we need several qualities, right? Among them is leadership and time management. And what should you do to cultivate these qualities and show your company's leadership team that you are up to the task of joining their ranks? So let's ask a question. Who are C-suite executives, right? C-suite levels refer to a company's top senior executives. The C in the C-suite titles usually refer to the chief. C-suite titles may include Chief Executive Officer, CEO, which is usually the top position at any company or corporation, the person who signs off on most important decisions. Other common C-suite roles include Chief Financial Officer, CFO, the person who works on business strategy, financial opportunities and analysis, and risk management, Chief Information Office, CIO, the individual who governs the information technology infrastructure and generally manages the information technology, IT, aspects of the business, and Chief Operating Officer, COO, an individual who makes sure internal operations run well and often deals more directly with individuals in the company than the CEO might. Individual industries may have other C-suite roles. For instance, Chief Technology Officer, CTO, is a common role in tech companies and startups, where the digital capabilities of the company are crucial to the brand's success. Chief Academic Officer, CAO, is a title often found in higher education. Some organizations have Chief Marketing Officer, CMO, who works on developing the company's promotional and often digital strategy. The number and specific role of C-level positions varies according to the size, function, and industry of a company. For example, at a company like Amazon, you will see many C-level positions, including CEOs for specific areas and locations. On the other hand, a small startup may have a single executive or none at all. So how do you attain C-level jobs? Now, it's rare for someone to start out as an executive unless she or he is the founder of a startup straight out of school. Even then, most people gain some experience at other companies before going out on their own. This can help them understand what it takes to run a business, how to manage the day-to-day operations, and what is required of leadership. It may come as a surprise that the skills that make you a good employee aren't necessarily the same ones that make you a good leader. Now, according to the Harvard Business Review, rather than displaying the technical expertise and skills required to do your job well as an employee, C-suite leaders are more often asked to contribute to the overall business strategy, as well as lead teams. Historically, and by historically I mean just a couple decades ago, C-suite executives often had duties more aligned to the work they had been doing at lower level officials and employees and more specific to their particular line of work or department. For example, a CFO mainly measured the financial performance of the company, reporting and analyzing the numbers. Today, however, the tasks that were once under the purview of a CFO are instead the responsibility of a CFO's accounting team. The CFO, on the other hand, acts as a partner to the CEO and other executives seeking out new opportunities for the business, balancing the financial risk against their rewards, and having a strong hand in the company's overall strategy. Strategy is a key word for all executives, not just the CEOs. In addition to being adept at managing and leading teams, nearly every C-level executive is expected to contribute in a substantial way to the company's overall business strategy, While they don't necessarily make important decisions single-handedly, though some do, they have a voice in developing their direction of the company and contributing to the overall mission, as well as seeking out new opportunities and directions for the brand. So, how do you rise to the ranks of C-level executives? Let me tell you this, it doesn't happen overnight. Many highly diligent and successful people never achieve C-level status. As I said it earlier, being a successful executive requires different skills from doing your job well as an employee. In addition to being team-oriented, possessing strong leadership skills, and having the capacity to multitask, C-suite leaders should also have the following skills and capabilities. So stay with me. The skills are understanding and sharing in the mission of the company, having the business sense to be able to identify and cultivate new opportunities, being able to assess the risks and rewards of ideas and opportunities, being able to motivate and direct teams, knowing how to communicate ideas effectively, knowing how to prioritize objectives. Even once you can reach the executive position, it can be difficult to navigate your new role and responsibilities. McKinsey & Company reports that many new executives have trouble earning the support of others for their ideas. Those who are most successful rely on their teams and direct reports to support them and provide them with the resources to do their job well. They also take time to learn about the company's culture and way of doing things, since many high-level executives are brought in from outside organizations rather than ascending the ranks of internally, though of course some do attain leadership roles that way as well. McKinsey & Company identifies 4 main areas an executive needs to govern: business, culture, team, and self. A successful executive takes the time to work on each of these areas, cultivating a vision and mission for the company, getting to know the culture of the business, creating and relying on a team of capable individuals, and identifying strengths and weaknesses in yourself, as well as preparing for the personal demands of the role. Reaching the level of executive requires extensive leadership experience. You will likely need to have served in management and leadership positions, probably quite a few in the past, led or oversaw important projects, and shown initiative in a quantifiable way. You will also need to possess the soft skills that make anyone a good leader: creativity, dedication, resilience, critical thinking, and problem solving. When seeking a C-level position, networking is your friend. You will need to build relationship with people in your industry who can put in a good word for you. Of companies that hire outside candidates for executive roles rather than promoting internally, must find them based on recommendations from both internal and external contacts. So take care to get to know people in your industry or related industries and develop a large network and stellar reputation. This is true even if you hope to be promoted internally. You will want to get to know senior executive leaders at your company as well as others in your industry, because that is how they will notice and identify you as strong talent. Attend events your company or industry sponsors. Even work parties can become network events. You never know whom you might encounter. Be prepared to network. That doesn't mean you should immediately make your sales pitch as soon as you shake hands. Instead, introduce yourself if you haven't already met and explain your role. Let the conversation flow naturally. There may be time to seed into your ideas for the company. And many people become C-level executives by starting their own companies. Startups are a great way to take initiative and make your vision a reality. But that's a topic of another day. Let's take a short break again. Hi, my name is Sara. I am a career coach. I help managers, directors, and C-level executives to revamp their resumes and LinkedIn profiles. Listen to my show, Let's Talk Careers with Sara on Armed Radio Global. On Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Write your career challenges on facebook.com/Let's Talk Careers with Sara. And I will answer them on my next show. I want to share with you a video that I saw on YouTube. It's called 19 Qualities of a Great CEO.
In America, for less than $200, you can go get any business registered at the City Hall and call yourself a CEO. You can even get a business card and call yourself a CEO and give your business card away and say, man, I'm a CEO. But you know when you're a real CEO? When hundreds of other people call you a CEO, because you've earned the right for other people to see you as a CEO. So today, before you become a CEO, one must act, behave, walk, talk, think like a CEO before you become a CEO. Way before I became a CEO, I worked on thinking like a CEO, walking like a CEO, asking myself how I would make a decision like a CEO, and then I became a CEO. And then once I was called a CEO, years later, other people started seeing me as a CEO, then the rest was history. So today, qualities of a great CEO, and I'm telling this from a lot of my personal mistakes on what can help you out for one day being a CEO, and maybe one day you aspire to become a great CEO, but regardless if you ever plan on becoming a great CEO or not, you're going to learn a lot of things you can do to help yourself with your leadership ability. So I got 19 different points to give you, and I'll get right into it. Point number one, great CEOs know how to manage their ego. Let me explain. Nobody becomes a CEO who doesn't have an ego. Nobody, not a single soul becomes a CEO who doesn't have an ego. Nobody becomes a president of the United States without being a little bit mentally off to believe you have the best processor to make decisions. You got somewhat of an ego, right? So you got to realize people who don't have egos don't want to be presidents. So there's nothing wrong with having a big ego, but you got to learn how to manage your own ego, because if you don't control your ego, you're definitely in trouble. Let me explain why. When you become very successful and you start making a lot of money and everybody knows you and you have fame and all this other stuff, there's something that happens. And let me tell you what that one thing is. It's called you are flooded with compliments. Okay, you are flooded with compliments. Let me give you the compliments. Oh, you're so amazing. Or you're so ridiculously good. Or you're better than this. Or you're better than that. And so many people are going to feed you this stuff because you're surrounded around people that are afraid of the decisions you could make to fire them. So everybody wants to tell you how amazing you are, right? Let me tell you, 90% of it is lies, okay? Just want you to know that, because most people are not going to tell you what you need to hear. If you have a small circle of people around you that are telling you the truth, you need that, because that's going to help you manage your ego. If you no longer talk to the guys that tell you off and are not afraid to tell you things you need to hear, and I'm talking about small board that you have or mentors that you have that are willing to sit you and tell you otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. I've seen this happen in sales many times. I've been dealing with salespeople for a long time. They start making money. Everybody starts telling them how amazing they are. They're no longer coachable, not willing to learn. They don't listen to anything they'll say. They know every single thing because they already know it. They forgot how to manage their own ego. Now, that's step number one. Let me tell you step number two of a great CEO. They have a way of finally realizing that they need to get a touch of humility in them. Here's why. You know why humility helps? Because other people want to work with you. If you don't have humility, you can't bring people together. If you don't have humility, people who disagree with you don't want to do business with you. If you don't have humility, you can't have an environment with a lot of different personalities, because they have to be in a certain set of personality to be able to work with you. Humility is extremely needed. Point number three. CEOs are extremely driven. What I did last week Can you give me that packet right there on the bag right there? Yes, just give me the whole bag. No, give me the whole bag. Yeah. So I brought all the Edgar. You can say hi to everybody. Everybody doesn't. This is Edgar. Okay, Edgar, new teammate of ours for about a month and a half. So last 2 weeks ago, I invited some of the biggest insurance companies in the world, CEOs, all these different people showed up. We took them to a nice dinner at Capitol Grill in Dallas at Crescent, which is my favorite building in the world is a Crescent. Fascinating. I just wrote last 5 years, I wrote this book. It's a fiction book. It's my first fiction book I've ever written. The entire book was inspired by this building, the Crescent. The setting is at a building that looks like the Crescent. So we had dinner at Capitol Grill, and I brought them to dinner, and normally in the insurance industry, they pay for our dinner. I pay for everybody. That's not a cheap dinner, a few $1,000s. Then the following day, the Crescent has a 17th floor. It's a club where President Bush goes and other presidents, many different presidents, both on the left and the right, have been to this club. And there's a lot of strong billionaires, oil people that go over here. I rented an entire room, and I took them over there. We had lunch from 8 o'clock in the morning till noon. I presented to them with the 2017 vision. When we had this meeting, and it's a room filled with a lot of egos, and everybody is products. We sell their products, okay? And they're all multi-billion-dollar companies. These are all multi-billion, ranging from a $10 billion company to a $300 billion company. They're all in the room, and we're presenting all this stuff that I'm sharing with all these guys. This is how the meeting got started. The first thing, I said, I got a gift for you. Typically, these meetings start in a different way, but I got a surprise for you. I said, first, we need to realize that ego is the enemy, and we all need to set aside our egos. If we don't lead with humility and we lead purely with ego, nothing's going to get done. If you're willing to set aside your egos, we're willing to set aside our egos. Hopefully we can do something big together. This doesn't mean I'm negotiating. I'm not going to stop negotiating because I'm going to ask for a bigger contract, but this needs to be set aside. Simple as that. Gave it to everybody. We laughed. We had fun. They enjoyed it. Then I give them the next hat here. And this hat doesn't say Make America Great Again. Obviously, we're trying to have some humor with these guys. It said, can you zoom in? Can you zoom in and see exactly what it says? It says, make insurance cool again, right? Make insurance cool again. The reason why I gave them these hats is because there's nothing cool about life insurance. If you've ever been to a life insurance traditional convention what all these insurance companies go to, it's pretty bad when you go to it. So we gave them this hat. Everybody starts laughing, make insurance. We took a picture. Everybody took the picture again together. And I said, we're going to make insurance cool again. What's the likelihood of doing that? It's very difficult for a lot of other people, but we're doing it. We made it cool. Millennials love working for our firm. We have multicultural. The average agent in our company is a 34-year-old Hispanic female, while America right now is struggling to get Hispanics, multiculturals, and millennials and Gen Xers to become agents. And we're very good at that. But
I'm going to have to stop here, and we're just running out of time. If you want to listen to the rest of the show of this video, it's from Voltainment, 19 Qualities of Great CEO. So I'll see you soon. See you next Wednesday. Oh, actually, I just realized we have 10 more minutes. So let's continue listening to this video.
I gave him this hat, and everyone starts laughing. The next thing we gave him was a phone charger. The phone charger said, every single time you charge your phone, I want you to think about that we're going to power up the entire industry is what we're going to be doing. So next time you charge in your phone, think about us, because we're probably out there growing the industry. And last but not least, what I gave him was the following. Here's what I gave him. We gave him 2 cigars, Romeo and Julieta, okay, 2 cigars. And the reason why we got these 2 cigars for them, I said the following to him. I said, look, in business, sometimes we end up spending more time with people we're in business with than our own family, because that's just kind of how business works. You travel and you're doing all this other stuff. I said, it's even greater if you can enjoy doing business with people that you enjoy being in business with. And I said, I hope we can take our business relationship from what it is today to a friendship by sharing many different cigars together so you and I can get to know each other, so we make tens of millions of dollars together, but at the same time, we establish a relationship with you as well. Are you open to that? Yes. Then we kicked off the meeting. That's how the meeting got started. Now, why am I telling you this? Here's why I'm telling you this. We're extremely driven. Everybody in the room is driven. Everybody's got ego. But we have to figure out a way to set aside the ego and manage this and lead with this for everybody else to open up and say, fair enough, let's do business together. This is one of the things that a CEO has to. A CEO typically starts off with a lot of this, because this is what survives, and you just wanted to kill everybody and compete and all this stuff. And then you realize sometimes you're killing your own allies. These are your friends you're killing. You know how sometimes you play those video games and you kill the wrong person and you lose? You're killing your own allies. That's not smart because of your ego. We need to lead with this, and you need to know how to manage your ego while still being driven, while still knowing you're going to be dealing with a lot of other driven people. Number 4, care for their people. Great CEOs care for their people. If you ask any of the CEOs, like I got a call the other day from a guy I worked with a long time ago. His name is Sevan. Let me tell you what he called me and told me. He called me and he and I were speaking something on the private side. I haven't talked to this guy for the longest time. And I was mentoring him way many years ago. He was like family, right? I protected this guy. I looked over him. I wanted to make sure he had a very good life, enjoyed himself. I enjoyed the company of his mom, dad, sister, everybody with his family. Now, certain things happen. He called me. He says, Pat, every single time I make a decision, I say the following. I say, what would Patrick do in this situation, right? And he said, some of the best times I had in business was working with you. I haven't learned as much as I learned except when I was working with you. Let me tell you why it's so important to care for people. I got another call from a guy named Danny. I won't tell his last name, Danny. He called me. He was in tears. He called me a year and a half ago. And he was in tears. He says, you have no idea how reluctant I've been about calling you because it's been a decade. I said, Danny, what's going on? I remember everything about the people that work. I know their stories because I care for the people. I know their stories. And he says to me, he says, Pat, I got to tell you something, man. He's quiet. I'm like, why is this guy crying? I haven't talked to you for 10 years. He says, I'm now the president of the bank I work at. I'm doing very well. I am married. I am so happy I can't even tell you. I'm making a multi-6-figure-year income. And I'm here to tell you, everything I'm putting in this leadership position is the stuff I learned when I was working in the business with you. You may be watching this, you're in Malaysia, you're in Brazil. You and I will never meet each other. Possibilities of us meeting each other maybe never, right? But you may realize that the only way you will ever be called a great CEO is if you realize the most important product you will ever have as a CEO is the people around you. If you forget that, you're in deep doo-doo, let me tell you. They make you look good. Without them, you're not existent. So if you think the world revolves around you as a CEO, you're in deep trouble. Without them, nothing happens. And by the way, there's fake care, and people can tell, and there's real sincerity and authenticity about you truly caring about the people around you. By the way, most people know how to read through the BS. You truly got to care about your people. So ask yourself, how often do you care about your people? Do you think about their dreams, their goals, what they want their purpose to become a reality? Are you thinking from that standpoint? If you are, you're going to end up becoming a pretty solid CEO one day. Number 5, human nature. You got to study human nature. Why human nature? Great CEOs understand human nature because they realized a very long time ago their number one product is not technology. I was at a Dallas Cowboys game. They lost to the Packers. Tough game, man. Let me tell you. We were at the game. We had box seats. We're with this technology guys. We're doing a bit of a negotiation with them. And a CEO of this company, they did about $100 million last year. So Tom asks him a question about, hey, how long have you been coding? He says, I've never coded in my life. So wait a minute. You sold us, we got a massive check to you. You've never, he said, I've never coded in my life. How have you never coded? He said, I've never coded in my life. Him and the biz dev guy have never coded in their lives. But they were both good in one thing, human nature. Human nature. Because the number one product is not coding. The number one product is not insurance, annuities, all this other stuff. By the way, if you're a CEO and you know your products very well, you got an edge on everybody else. So don't take this for a moment for you to say, well, thank God, because I know nothing about my product. That's all. I'm not giving you an out. So don't take the out there. Hang on. Come back here. You got to learn the product. But the number one product above all is human nature. You got to know what happens when people are down, why this person's not all in, why this person's being a little bit forgetful. What's the personal life going? You got to take them out to lunch and talk to them and say, is everything okay? How's your wife doing? How's, such and such doing? Are the kids good? How's they? You got to, this is all the stuff you got to know about because it's relationships. Business is purely relationships, right? Number 6. Comfortable handling contradictions. This is very difficult for a lot of people. Let me explain. So anytime I try to develop somebody into becoming a CEO or an entrepreneur, somebody that's running their own business, they're so like, my business is only black and it's white. I'm a black and white type of person. And this is the only way I do business, black and white. I'm like, listen, I wish life was black and white, man. Life is not black and white. Life is blue sometimes, it's white sometimes, it's black sometimes. Sometimes it's pink, green, purple. Sometimes it's colorful. Sometimes it's gray. It's very weird. So if you go into business expecting just black and white, you're going to miss out on 80% of the opportunity. There are some gray areas in business, and it's about learning how to deal with contradictions. What am I talking about with contradictions? On one side, one can say, hard work, you got to work hard to go out there and be successful. 100% true. But the key is working smart is what you got to become successful. And these guys may be true. Sometimes, no, it's only about working hard. No, it's only about working smart. Now, of course you need to work smart and have tools. But if I got a guy that knows how to work hard and manage his energy and his health, and he knows how to work smart by having the right tools and people around him, he's going to kick the other guy's butt that only thinks about working hard, only thinks about working smart. So you got to learn that there's a lot of contradictions in life and in business. Success, happiness is about living a balanced life. Okay? I mean, what is so balanced about being pregnant and having a kid? And 24/7, a woman, all they have to think about is pregnancy, nursing. We have several, I'm okay with, people that want to bring their kids here to work. They're pumping milk all day long. So what is the balanced life about it where you're nursing the kids 7-8 times a day and they're pooping and this? Your life is not balanced. But let me explain to you, one of the biggest highs is having a kid. But life is about being balanced, right? You got a person that's chasing to win a championship, a Super Bowl, plays a movie, 6 months they're shooting. It's not a balanced life. So what is balance? Is this like certain balance is supposed to be 9 to 5? So you got to know how to deal with contradictions as a CEO. And you got to dance with contradictions, man. And don't be stiff when you're dancing with contradictions. Just kind of dance with contradictions and be okay with it when you're dealing with these contradictions. Because if you don't, you're going to have a lot of anxiety attacks and you're going to be having a lot of migraines if you try to control all these contradictions. Number 7, they think outside the box. Solid CEOs, they think outside the box. It's not always one way of doing anything. They think outside the box. They regularly think outside the box. One of the videos I did on thinking outside the box is, how to think big as an entrepreneur. That's a video you ought to watch. It has to do a little bit with how to think outside the box. But they don't just look at one thing and say, we have to do this. They're very good at looking at this and, connected dot, I think it's this one. Well, I never thought about that. Yeah, it's this one. We need to focus on this. We've never done this before. And they're willing to think a little bit differently than most people would think. Number 8, they have a reputation. Let me explain what I mean by a reputation. They can't be pushed around by competitors. Typically, strong CEOs, I was watching this one president of a company, and he went up there, and he was being pushed around by Elizabeth Warren. And this is a financial firm company I was watching. And she was just pushing him. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, where is your spine? Stand up already. It wasn't Wells Fargo. I'm like, stand up already. Stand up for your industry. You're making everybody look like they're doing something wrong. Have some backbone. Say something. He's just sitting there like this, shaking, because he's worried about a $6 million bonus. Like, say something already. He's no longer the president. I wouldn't have him as a president. Voice your opinion a little bit. You can't be a CEO representing the industry and you don't have a backbone to share your thoughts and opinions because you're worried about regulators and the government. You got to say some stuff a little bit. I'm not talking about being disrespectful, but you can't just sit there and take it all the time. A CEO can't be pushed around. You can't bully a CEO.
I will stop right here. Thank you for being with me today. I will have this show recorded and you can hear it on my Facebook page. Let's Talk Careers with Sara.